The Singapore Environment and Water Resources Minister says the country's investment in measures to prevent floods may be just as effective in managing the other extreme weather condition, droughts. Dr. Balakrishnan said this at a community event today. Sarah Gross with more.
The weather was a hot topic at the Eco Day Out in Southwest District.
You cannot take life for granted and you can't take the weather for granted.
The Environment Minister pointed out that the variability in the weather has been greater, which means intense rain and possible dry spells. And this is something the panel of experts that's reviewing flood protection should bear in mind.
A prolonged drought is something which is of greater worry to me than a flash flood. A flash flood which can be resolved over 15 minutes to half an hour. So one key point which I'm watching is to make sure that a lot of the recommendations that have been put up by the panel would also make sense if we have to deal in future with dry seasons or with droughts.
Some of the recommendations by the flood panel include the use of rooftops and more porous pavements. Now, while the Environment Minister agrees with all the recommendations, he says there might be some issues translating them into reality.
It also means getting the finances and, equally important, the trade-offs involved, for instance, land and alternative uses for that land. So, it does take some time to make sure we've considered all the factors and come up with a plan which is realistic, which is implementable, and one which the public will agree is worth the money that will be spent on these plans.
Dr. Balakrishnan said National Water Agency, PUB, will have its hands full in fixing the flood problem. The improvement works at Liat Towers and Lucky Plaza must be completed within 3 months. It has about 6 months to decide if it should go ahead to build detention ponds, as well as where they'll be located. The Stamford Canal will be checked to see if its current capacity is really maximized within 9 months. By the end of the year, an accurate digital elevation map of Singapore should take shape.